Hello my sweeties and welcome back to my channel. If you don't already know me, my name is Elise and thank you for joining my spooky little family. In today's video, we will be talking about the top 10 best horror movies to stream on TUBI right now. Let's get into the video. Okay, so before we get into today's video, I do want to talk about some upcoming fun things here on this channel. I have made a Twitch account where I play a lot of Dead by Daylight and I scream very chaotically, and it's been a lot of fun. I stream on there every Friday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you guys should definitely check out my Twitch. I also would like to say that if you are watching this and it is Monday, I have officially launched my Patreon. So if you would like to be a part of my Patreon, you get a lot of cool perks and exclusive Patreon content. I have about 4 different Patreon tiers. There's a lot of cool behind the scenes content for table screams. We have a sweet and spooky private Discord where we can chat and get to know each other a little better in a more intimate setting. There are also some other cool perks on there like Netflix watch parties, recommending a movie for me to review, and also even picking out a script for the next table scream. So I highly recommend you guys check that out. I will leave the links to everything down in the description box below. And now, without further ado, let's get onto our list. Here at number 10, we have The Last Circus, directed by Alex de la Iglesias. A young trapeze artist must decide between her lust for Sergio, the happy clown, or her affection for Javier, the sad clown, both of whom are deeply disturbed. Okay, so this is actually a Spanish film from Spain, and it is actually one of my favorite movies of all time. I was actually really pleased to see that this is on TUBI, and I really love getting more people to watch this one. I feel like it is highly underrated. If you're anything like me and you like a good horror movie that's set in a circus, this is the movie for you. This is disturbing, it's action-packed, it's anxiety-inducing, the acting is absolutely phenomenal, and there's a really good musical number, but not in the way you would think, okay? Also, if you like any of Alex de la Iglesias' other work, then you would definitely like this one. He has done other Spanish films which you may know that are kind of iconic, like The Day of the Beast and Witching and Bitching, which is another one that is a lot of fun. Also, if you're like me and you're just into clowns, you're gonna love this. Next at number 9, we have Possum, directed by Matthew Holness. After returning to his childhood home, a disgraced children's puppeteer is forced to confront his wicked stepfather and the secrets that have tortured his entire life. So again, this is another movie that is really weird and eerie. This one has a really great atmosphere and the setup is really well done. There's a lot of haunting imagery in this one. This is just one of those movies that is very weird and strange. And to be quite honest, if you watch it, you may not even know what it's about. But if you watch it a second time, I think you'll get it. I think that this is definitely a great late night movie if you're looking for something to really scare you, because damn, did I have some nightmares about this after watching it. This is also, yet again, another film that I feel like is really not talked about too much and is very underrated. So if you guys have not seen it yet, I highly recommend checking it out. And now on a lighter note, at number 8, we have Pieces, directed by Juan Piquer Simon. The co-eds of a Boston college campus are targeted by a mysterious killer who is creating a human jigsaw puzzle from their body parts. Okay, so this movie, I'm just gonna let you guys know right off the bat, this movie is absolutely wild. This movie is so much fun. It is 100% a ridiculous movie. Unfortunately, I saw this on Shudder and it seemed as though I got an English dub, which kind of sucked, but this movie is still fun nonetheless. If you're into a lot of those cheesy old school slasher movies that have very ridiculous kills and a lot of really awful looking body parts, then you're definitely gonna like this one. I also will say that the ending of this film, it will stick with you for life. I don't know if in a good or bad way. All I do know is I laughed my ass off and I will never forget about it. Now at number 7, we have The Wolf House, directed by Joaquin Cosina and Cristobal Leon. The Wolf House tells the story of Maria, a young woman who takes refuge in a house in southern Chile after escaping from a German colony. So The Wolf House for me is definitely underrated as well. This is an animated film. It is very creepy and the voiceovers are absolutely haunting. I will never forget that man saying Maria every 2 seconds. But this movie is definitely more on the creepy, eerie, late night vibe. If I had to choose a double feature off this list, I would definitely say Possum and then The Wolf House, because what a great eerie, creepy double feature. But really, The Wolf House is definitely not one to sleep on. It is definitely a masterpiece. This film, it took over 5 years to complete, and it definitely feels like a lot of love and passion went into this. You can just feel it pour out of the screen as you watch it. 100% recommend. Now at number 6, we have a film that I never shut up about. Have you guessed it? Have you guessed it? It is Be My Cat, a film for Anne, directed by Adrian Sofé.
I'll have
Be My Cat, a film for Anne.
Daring today, aren't we? One.
Be My Cat, an aspiring filmmaker obsessed with actress Anne Hathaway, goes to shocking extremes to convince her to star in his upcoming film. Yes, I know. So if you have been a part of this channel for a while, you know that this is one of my favorite found footage films of all time. And yes, I am here to plug it once again. Once I saw that Be My Cat was on TUBI, I just knew I had to put it on this list. If you have not watched it yet, I highly recommend it. It is a great found footage movie. It has a lot of really wonderful acting, a lot of wonderful improv. Adrian not only directed, but he wrote, he starred, and he produced this. The overall premise of the movie is interesting. The fact that he is obsessed with Anne Hathaway really just drew me in more, and his acting was very impressive. He definitely had me believing that he was crazy and obsessed with Anne. I also will say that the poster of this movie is absolutely terrifying, so he did a great job there. Now at number 5, we have Triangle, directed by Christopher Smith. Yacht passengers encounter mysterious weather conditions that force them to jump onto another ship, only to have the odd havoc increase. So Triangle is actually a film that I watched quite late. I watched this a few months ago with some friends, and I was pleasantly surprised. I will say this is definitely a film that is a mind fuck. So if you are looking for something to confuse you and make you think for 2 hours, this is the one. This is a great psychological thriller. I think honestly that you can't really tell what's happening, and you definitely can't predict what the end is gonna be. So I feel like they really did this well. This film also stars Melissa George, and I love Melissa George. She is an incredible actress and she does a great job here. I also would like to talk about the cinematography and overall how this film looks. It is beautifully shot. Like, everything about this movie is a vibe. It is so gorgeous. There's also something about this movie that when you put it on your screen, something about it is oddly comforting. Even though it's terrifying, but it's comforting. Speaking of terrifying movies, at number 4, we have Last Shift, directed by Anthony de Blasi. A rookie cop's first shift alone in the last night of a closing police station turns into a living nightmare. Okay, so this movie I had seen many years ago and I decided to give it a rewatch to see if I still liked it, if it still held up, if it was still creepy. And I am here to say 100%. There is a lot of really disturbing moments in this movie and overall a lot of icky scenes. I also like that this movie just takes place in this one setting and we follow this one character in this journey. There's something very intimate about it. My one gripe with this movie is that I think that it could have been a little bit longer. The last scene is definitely good, but I just wanted a bit more. I will say though that the twist is very well done. This is definitely one of those movies that while watching it, I was like, Jesucristo, I do not fuck with the brujeria. And that's it. I had to say a couple prayers while watching this one because it was certainly getting to me. Now at number 3, we have The Descent, directed by Neil Marshall. A caving expedition goes horribly wrong as the explorers become trapped and ultimately pursued by a strange breed of predators. The Descent is definitely a lot of fun. This is a gory, super gory movie. I think that the acting in this film is exceptionally well done. I absolutely love our leading lady. She did a great job. Also, I do want to point out again that the cinematography in this movie is absolutely gorgeous. I love the way this movie looks. I think the story is interesting and it definitely still is very creepy. Now at number 2, we have Dread, directed by Anthony DiBlasi. Obviously, if you can tell while watching this list, I seem to like Anthony DiBlasi's films. 3 college students set out to document what other people dread the most. However, one of the 3 turns out to secretly be a sadistic psychopath who uses this knowledge to gruesomely torture the subjects. So if you guys have not seen Dread, this one is actually very good and it still definitely holds up. This is actually based on a short story by Clive Barker, and I thought that that was really interesting. You know we love Hellraiser here on this channel. It also stars Jackson Rathbone, so all my Twilight girlies, let's give it up for him. He actually does an amazing job in this movie, and it was a lot of fun to see him in this really dark, eerie horror movie that was kind of disturbing. Just because, like, I had seen him in Twilight, and then this, I was like, Dread is actually really well done. There is definitely some moments in this that is really disgusting and gross and may not be for someone who has a weak stomach, so just keep that in mind. Sticking with underrated, at number 1, we have Dark Water, directed by Hideo Nakata. A mother and her 6-year-old daughter move into a creepy apartment whose every surface is permeated by water. I actually recently saw this movie. I had been avoiding it for a while because I did hear that there are a lot of similarities from this film to the Elisa Lam case, which was very disturbing. So I had avoided this at all costs because the Elisa Lam case definitely scared me. But I finally delved into this one and I absolutely did not regret it. This is a Japanese ghost supernatural horror film and it is done very well. Not only that, it is actually beautifully shot. I love the way it looks. We also have a great performance from our leading lady and also from the little girl who plays her daughter. They both had great chemistry. This is definitely one of those movies that is a slow burn, but if you like supernatural ghost horror movies, you are definitely going to like this. And I honestly did not think it would get that emotional at the end, but it did. and it definitely made me very emotional. Overall, a very well done film, very effective. Before I end this video, I do want to say there are a lot of movies on TUBI that are like classics that I know are on there. I specifically wanted to include some movies that maybe you guys have not heard of that I feel are personally underrated. So that is why such movies like Suspiria and Terrifier are not on this list. Alright you guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe as it really helps me a lot. And be sure to click that little notification bell to be up to date every single time I upload. And let me know in the comments, have you seen any of these movies? Did any of these pique your interest? Are you gonna watch them? Also, if there are any movies on TUBI that you would like me to see, definitely let me know. I'd love to talk about it. Also, don't forget to check out my Patreon as well as my Twitch account, which that will be in the description box down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!